Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy here for Imagine Crafts. Thanks for joining me today. I am going to be using some Delicata inks, of course the Memento Tuxedo Black as well, and we are going to be making a set of New Year's cards. On screen we're going to make one card together, and then I have 3 others to share at the end. But I start by stamping out this beautiful champagne goblet. This is the Happy New Year stamp set from Whimsy Stamps. And the champagne part itself is kind of a 2-step stamping, if you will, layered stamping. So first I stamped everything out in the Memento Tuxedo Black, and then I'm lining up the little bubbles here, and I start by stamping out the Golden Glitz Delicata Pigment ink. Guys, Delicata inks are absolutely gorgeous. They're so shimmery, and it's like a satiny texture to me. It's just stunning. If you're able to zoom in a little bit to see it even closer than what I have zoomed in, it's just beautiful. Now over that gold, I'm stamping the Pink Shimmer Delicata ink, and it just they blend so lovely, and then they layer, and I'm even going to be bringing in a red. And so here we have the ruby red Delicata ink, and you can see that I'm just stamping or putting ink on certain portions of the stamp because I want it to be kind of an ombre effect, or as if the cranberry juice that's mixed with the champagne is kind of going down the side of the flute and it's settling at the bottom. So I love that gradient of color. I think it's absolutely stunning. And you can go in with an ink pen or something like that and actually draw in a goblet, but I like this kind of abstract where your brain has to fill in the rest of the picture, if you will. I think it's beautiful. Now to die cut that out, I use the Whimsy Stamps notched, stitched, let me give you the right name, mini slimline notched and stitched die, and I'm going to be layering it up. So I used not only the notched stitched, but also the one that's notched without the stitching. And I used my on point glue to lay down some of that rock candy glitter just to give that champagne an extra sparkle. And then I ran some white cardstock through an embossing folder, and on that folder I had added some of the Delicata ink, and it's just really pretty, and it adds just a touch of color to that embossed background. So here I have all of my pieces die cut and layered up. I have this red cardstock. It is kind of a satiny textured mirrored cardstock, and it coordinates really well with that ruby red Delicata ink. And again, I've used both the mini slimline notched dies and the mini slimline notched and stitched dies, and you can see that they layer up beautifully. So I also have the stamp it says New Year, New Hope. It's from Technique Junkies. It's a couple years old. And I am die cutting out black cardstock with the Frames Labels die set. There are 2 different shapes and a number of sizes of both shapes. And I wanted to layer this sentiment up as well. So I'm using some of that double-sided foam tape to lift it up. And then I go back and I add some more of the On Point Precision glue to glue everything down. But before I do that, I have this beautiful gold thread that really coordinates with that Golden Glitz Delicata ink, and it just adds one more element of shimmer. Now you can see I've got quite the little rolled up nest, if you will, in my hand. But once it is attached to the back of that sentiment label, you only see a little bit. So it's more of a hint of the gold once it's glued on. So you can see I have the nest adhered to the back of that sentiment, and there's just little bits, kind of tendrils, if you will, of the thread sticking out. I wish that you could see how well that Delicata ink is shimmering. It's absolutely beautiful, and I think shimmer on New Year's Eve, perfect. Excuse me. I am still recovering from illness, so I do apologize if I sound nasally and sniffly, and obviously apologize for the coughs. But thank you for being patient with me, and thank you again for joining me today on this, I think, a very fun card project. Now, you can see that I used my little corner rounder to round the corners of this embossed panel, and I'm taking that same pink shimmer Delicata ink just around the edges, just to kind of define that layer from the card base. It's a very subtle definition, but I think it's just enough to show that because it's tone on tone, sometimes it can be hard to differentiate where one stops and starts, but that going around the edge helps with that. So again, using my on point glue to continue to layer up all my pieces, holding it down just for a second so that that glue can take, and then this one as well, some double-sided foam tape as well as the on point glue, just to have some wiggle room if I need it. And then I have everything adhered, and there is the final card. Obviously I did the stamping of the sentiment off screen, but I did it a little bit two-tone and kind of ombre. Each one is stamped a little bit different, and each card is just a little bit different. There's more ink on some of the embossed layers than there is on others. Some of them have the rounded edges, some of them don't. Kind of sky's the limit on how you might want to use this design. You can see that on this one and that last one, I offset the stamping of the colored circles so that it gives kind of the impression of movement of those bubbles. But this is my card share for today. So guys, I hope that you liked it. I ask that you give this video a thumbs up. Check out Imagine Crafts. There are links downstairs if you're interested. And until next time, guys, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Imagine Crafts. Mwah! I'm out.